All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Sunday morning. It's about 11 p.m. I hope everybody is doing well. We using my new Rode microphone, so there might be some hiccups, there might be some challenges, but we're getting it. I want to give an apology out to Chris Diaz over at Das Ex Machina for the audio quality on his end was really low. We're not quite sure if it was on his side or my side. I think it was my side, just because I've switched over to the Mac to do all of my recording. And I think I don't have the recording internal audio set up properly. There is still an issue. Apple doesn't want to support direct recording from an inside internal source, like off of the system board, so the audio. And it's really quite annoying. And there are workarounds for it and ways to do it. And I thought I had it figured, but for some reason, when we were recording, he sounded fine. Everything was going great. I got a little 5 o'clock shadow going on here. I apologize. Everything sounded great. It was looking good. The audio, the video was, everything was great. When I hit the playback, it sounded great. But unfortunately, when I uploaded it to YouTube, his audio was super low. So I do give a big apology to everybody. And Chris has already stated that he will come back on the channel after, or maybe midway through the Kickstarter, and we'll do another one. And so hopefully we'll get it all dialed in. I will say though that the Rode Wireless Go, you can see the little blue light right there, is working great. And I'm enjoying it very much. It allows me to sit and stand and move around, and it works so far. Even with the Mac, it's working great. There is some Rode interface software that I can do, like applauses and things like that, just little sound bites. But I haven't quite figured all that out yet, and I don't want to deal with it just yet. But so a big thank you to Chris for coming on the channel and talking. Like I said, you have to kind of turn the volume up a little bit. Luckily, I don't talk a whole lot in this one. Chris is very verbose and very passionate about the hobby. And so it was really great to hear everything he had to say. And I hope to get him back on the channel again. So without further ado, today's video du jour, this was sent to me a couple months ago, and I'm just now getting around to it. And it's from First Falling Leaf. It was a, I believe it was a Kickstarter by World Forge Games. That's the distributor, and it's Sins. This is a very unique, very cool game, and they were nice enough. I don't remember the young man's name that sent it to me, but he saw one of my videos and he asked if I wanted a copy for a review, and so he sent me some very cool stuff. So first off, I got the core book, which we're going to go through here in a bit. He also sent me the GM screen, which I gotta say is gorgeous. This is on the level of the Genesis. Not, the art isn't, and I don't mean this in a bad way, the art is not as graphically intense as the Genesis. That's probably the top bar, but this game is real close as far as its art goes. But this GM screen, like I said, is up there. We have a simple image on this side, and then we have a critter on the back, and then the rest of it, there's the logo, which you can see there, and then the inside of the screen is very well laid out. It's really nicely done. You've got everything you need, and this is heavy card, which thank you guys, because I hate cheap GM screens. It's really, really a pet peeve. But you can hear that. That is a solid GM screen. So you get the nice GM screen. You get, he sent me a little pamphlet of Sins, a Rogues Gallery expanded. This expanded Rogues Gallery of Brood variant evolutions and agents of the Hive add 8 fearsome new opponents to the post-fall world of Sins, including new alpha, gamma, and delta strain brood evolutions, unique brood spawn types, and the first of the true hive spawn. So again, First Falling Leaf, distributed by World Forge Games. So this is just a little pamphlet. There's some art, and it shows you the critters. And yeah, very cool, nice to have. And then this is an introduction adventure to Dead Cities, to Sins, Dead Cities. And on the back it says Dead City is the exciting and fast paced introduction to the world of Sins, offering hours of thrilling survival horror gameplay and branching plot lines and evolving adversaries taking the roles of 5 friends as they survive one apocalypse, only to be thrown into a desperate struggle to survive another. Dead City is a 3 to 5 hour branching adventure intended for mature readers and requires some previous gaming experience to run. You will also need pen, paper, and around 10 six-sided dice. And it says, play through the fall, the beginning of the Sins setting. Experience the Hope Engine and fight to survive in the dying New York City. So very much, very cool adventure. Looks like 32, if I can, yeah, 31 pages, as the back page is actually the back cover. Perfect bound, stapled, really nicely done. Yeah, super cool. You got pre-gens, you got everything you need if you're going to be the GM, the storyteller, the narrator, whatever you want to call yourself. This is what you need to get started. And the reason you need that is there is no starting adventure in the core rulebook in this tome of a massive hardback, 360 pages, predominantly black and white. I'm going to give a huge shout out to Will Kirkby, who's the illustrator behind this. This has very much a Tribe 8 feel to the art. And you grognards out there will know Tribe 8 from Heavy Gear and the world that they set up. I love the art and I hate the art. Does that make sense? You have images like this, which I don't particularly care for. I don't like it. It's almost like a caricature. But it's good. I mean, it's quality art. It's obviously better than anything I can do. And then you have art like this, which is literally amazing. Like I said, it's in that Tribe 8 feel, water pencils, colors. I hope you like the color red because you're going to see a lot. You get a lot of splash art like that, like the skull there. And the interior borders are all of this faded out red. Supposed to be, I guess, blood splatters. It works for this book with the stark white background. The paper is nice, heavy gauge, semi-gloss paper. This book is going to hold up very well. It is very well produced. Here's a nice map of the world with the brood infestations that you can see, and nuclear scarring. This is post-apocalyptic in its best. The shit is literally hit the fan, and it's up to your guys to survive. Like I said on the reading of the back, it's a dice pool system, D6. I'm not a fan of D6 systems. I am a fan of D6 dice pool systems that use it smartly, and I feel that this game uses it smartly. Now, quick disclosure, they sent this to me for free, but my opinions are just that. They are my opinions. Everybody knows I don't like D6 systems, but I seem to have a lot of them. And this appears to be a good one. Now, I haven't gotten to play this yet. Obviously, that little virus thing that's running around has put a real crimp in a lot of people's gaming. And we're just getting back to in-group gaming. And then what we do is on weeks that everybody can't get together, but enough of us can get together to game, we run a game that we haven't played before. So my group is really big in Mutant Chronicles. Lately, we've been playing Castles and Crusades as a secondary game. Our primary campaign is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and we're all loving that. So this is written by Miguel Tankard. It's hardback. It's 360 pages. The art is by Will Kirkby. It is predominantly black and white interior art. The system, kind of like this, it's a D6 system. It's called the Hope system, and it is a D6 dice pool. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a difficulty set by the GM, and that is how hard the task is. How many successes do you need? And then you're going to have an outcome, and that is how well you succeeded. So if the GM says that you need two, the difficulty is 2, that means you need 2 successes. And he may say that the difficulty is 2, which means 2 or better on a dice is a success. 6s explode and can generate more successes as well. And there are equipment and like talents that will do various things on a 6. So it's a very expansive system. I think it has a lot of breadth to its mechanics, which I like. Um, but the nice part of what they do is, and I like this, however many successes you need, subtract from the outcome. So in that previous example, you need 2 successes. Let's say you rolled 4. Well, you needed 2 just to succeed. So you've succeeded. Anything above that is gratis, is extra, and that can lead to better things, better damage, better outcome, faster, picking the lock faster is the age-old example. So you can do cool things with this system. It's got a little wiggle room in it, but it also makes it kind of difficult because if you're unskilled and you're trying to roll and you're only rolling your attributes and you don't have any equipment or anything like that, it can get pretty difficult to get those successes, especially if your GM says, oh, you need 4 successes and you only have an attribute of 3. You better pray for some 6s, because again, a 6 is going to let you re-roll, and if you get that, you get a 2 or better in the previous example. So it's really cool. I like it. There's a lot of bad things in this world, and when you say apocalypse, they drop the nukes. We're invaded by, and I want to give them the right term. What are they called? I'm going to give them the Brood Song. Uh, yeah, so the Brood, the infection, these things just lay waste to everything. The book goes into pretty detailed of how everything came to be and why you are in this situation. There's a lot of nukes went off, and it's just the humans are trying to survive. These aliens, whatever they are just absorbing everything, and it's just not a good time to be there. Uh, and they go into, I mean, they describe the world, they tell you everything, the wastelands, the ruins, New Haven, Hell Pit, which is where I believe they landed. Yeah. Um, Brood infestations, the world at the end, which is nice. Poisoned globe, flora and fauna, humanity, climate, and then they go into like the different types of critters that you're going to run into. There is a magic system. I don't want to call it magic, but there is a system in here that because of these aliens or creatures that have infested the earth, some things have changed, and it's pretty cool. The book, I'm going to give a shout out to whoever decided to do the layout of the book. I don't know if it tells us. Sam Sleeney, writing and development team, illustrations, producer, editing and proofreading. It doesn't really say who did the layout of the book, but it's created by Miguel Tankard, and Sam Sleeney did the writing and the development of the team lead. Um, the very first page, besides the forward, where they give special thanks and the playtesters and copyright to First Falling Leaf 2013, um, is this is a second printing. They tell you that right off the bat, and then there's a content warning, and I like this. White Wolf and some other game companies have put in verbiage to try and I don't know how to put it. Just basically babying us. We're adults. We're playing a role-playing game. When you're playing a game that's in a dark setting like Sins, or you're playing Vampire, or you're playing Degenesis, these are very adult-themed games. I think we all know that. I mean, it's in the material. I don't think we need our handheld to tell us that this is an adult game and, we should use common sense. I think that should be inherent. But I get it in the day and age of society that we have to put a disclaimer on things because people, will drink the hot coffee and burn themselves, and because they don't realize the steam coming off the top of the cup is hot. So I get it. I think it's redonkulous, but I get it. But anyway, they do it very tastefully here. They put a content warning. They talk about triggers, and that this is intended for mature audiences, and discusses topic and themes which may be uncomfortable for some readers. And he goes on to talk about graphic violence, existential horror, body horror, psychological horror. In addition to the primary themes, this game has a number of secondary themes: religion, slavery, warfare, supernatural horror, and reference to sex and sexuality. It's cut and dry. They don't candy coat it. They don't hold your hand. They don't tell you, oh, hold up an X card, which are all valid things. I'm not discounting them. But in my gaming circle, I don't need those. We're all adults. I even game with a 14-year-old who has a pretty good amount of common sense. And so, we play the game appropriate to the age group and to the mental capability of our players. But I can see at a convention, or a one shot in a game store, you want to make sure these things are brought up. So anyway, then it goes right into the table of contents, which is very well laid out. And then we go into a couple of pages and we get past and present, which talks about everything past and present and what's going on in the world. There are comic plates that are sparsed in between the book, and they are very well done. Black and white, again, here's one of them. So this is the character creation chapter, and it's very well done. Very well laid out, very concise, very clear. You know what you're getting. It's written on the tin. And it goes into character creation. I mean, it's just super laid out. And then we get equipment, and then we get emissaries, which are like the bad guys that you're going to fight. We get songs, which is kind of the magic part that I was talking about. And then we go into this quite a big section on songs, and then we go into the brood. The brood are the bad guys. These are the critters, the things that go bump in the night, the things that are taking over our earth and enslaving us and are eating us or using us as material, whatever you want to call it. They are bad. And then there's a GM's toolkit, which is pretty extensive, very well laid out. And then at the end of the book, we have the East Coast, which is where they're assuming you're going to start your adventures. Now, you're free to start it anywhere you want, but there's various levels of technology, and because of the nukes that were dropped and everything, there's various levels of civilization and everything. So they give you the East Coast. It's quite the back chunk of the book. It's very well done. There's a lot of cool handouts from like the CDC and just cool stuff that you can use in your game. They go through all the states, on the East Coast, and then there's a table, an index, which is very well laid out, and then they go into a list of sidebars, and then Kickstarter backer credits, the normal thing for all the Kickstarters to give credit to those people, and then an afterword by Miguel Tankard and his Sins crew. This is just a cool game, guys. I like the setting. It's post-apocalyptic. There's a sliver of technology and a semblance of hope. I think the game mechanic being called hope makes sense for the world. And I mean, things in with the world, and we're in this horrible situation. The brood are running rampant. They are ever expanding, and you're trying to survive and keep pockets of civilization going. So extremely well laid out, well presented. The art is hit and miss for me, but if you like that Tri-Bait pencil art, kind of blurry watercolor, kind of cartoonish, the art is, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I don't think there's anybody that's going to look at it and go, meh, it's okay. But it's very well done. It's consistent. That's one of my huge pet peeves, is consistent art in a book. This has it. This has very consistent art in the book. It does a very good job of also setting the things that go bump in the night. If you're a Call of Cthulhu fan and you want a more modern take on horror, this might be the game for you. It may be a little too over the top, a little too like high-tech sci-fi, but you can dial that back. As a GM, storyteller, narrator, you can turn that down and say, these type of weapons or these things don't exist in this world, and still the brood will be a great, protagonist for the group or antagonist for the group. So I recommend it. I think it's pretty cool. I would love to get this to the table. I think my players would enjoy it. I think it would. You could really. I'm not a horror GM. My friend Darren is really good at running Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green. I think this would be a game that he would run really well. I would run it more as an action survival game, so I wouldn't focus too much on the horror. The horror would be the atrocities that the Brood create and things like that. I wouldn't go the suspense route. That's not my jam. But I think Darren could run this really well. I think this would be his kind of game. So that's my thoughts on Sins by First Falling Leaf. First Falling Leaf game design and distributed by World Forge Games. And I thank the creators for sending this to me. It is a wonderful addition to my collection. And I will run it one day. I'm interested in running it because I think it is a cool game, and I like the mechanics that I've read, and I like the way they work. Very similar to Degenesis, which is also a D6. Degenesis uses basically Vampire the Masquerade's mechanics, but only with D6s instead of D10s. So this is kind of similar on the same line, not as much of a clone of White Wolf or Degenesis. It is its own system. It is the Hope system, and I kind of like what I've read so far. I'm interested to maybe whip up a couple of characters and see how they turn out, because the character creation process looks really in depth in a good way, not in a bad way. So pick it up and let me know what you think about it. If you have it, were you a Kickstarter backer? Let me know what your thoughts were. Did you enjoy it? Was it not what you wanted? Do you feel like you didn't get your bang for your buck? Or if you did get your bang for your buck, tell me what you like about it. If you're running a game, let me know how you like running it. I'm interested to hear. I try to respond to all the notes down in the doobly-doo. So anyway, that's Sins. That's my thoughts on Sins, the RPG. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be dinged when I dong, meaning that you'll get updated when I post a new video. We are going to have a drawing probably early next week, towards the end of the month. A lucky winner is going to get, and of course I've already moved it. I have a I have a I have a basically a character creation, a hardback character sheet that's in a book format for Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm going to do a raffle. So if you want to be a part of that and you want to get that, it's like a $35 book, and it's basically just as a character journal for your D&D games. And I know a lot of people play D&D, so I backed the Kickstarter, and I was happy to get it, and it's beautiful. I have two, so I'm auctioning off one, or I'm going to give one away to one of the lucky viewers on the channel. So if you want a chance to win that, join my Discord. It's $5 a month. It helps support the channel. All that money goes back into the channel, and allows me to do cool things like this and all that fun stuff. Allows me to buy a new microphone, which is obviously working great. The last video I did got a lot of people said that the audio sounded fantastic. So I'm very excited to have this. It'll allow me to also take it to conventions and use it at conventions as well to do videos. So without further ado, I'm going to say thank you. Join the Patreon. It gets you exclusive access to stuff on Discord as well. You get to be a player. I usually give my Discord or my Patreon followers first dibs at any games I run. I run on Discord and or Foundry or both. So if there's any games you want to see run or whatever, shoot me a message. Like I said, you can email me at mrmeanspeaks with an S at gmail.com. And I respond to all my email. If you're a publisher or a game designer and you want your stuff shown on the channel, or you want my opinions or my thoughts, I've been doing this for over 30 years. You can see that collection behind me is quite large. That bookshelf is 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide. So there's a lot of books jammed in there, and I have a ton of books on each side. So I've been doing this for a long time. And it is my hobby, it is my joy, it is my passion next to my family, and family first, obviously. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Join the Discord. There'll be links all down in the doobly-doo. Help support the channel, tell your friends about it, and guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it and you gleaned something new from this, and it gives you something to look forward to. So with that, peace and hair grease, and have a happy Sunday.